Welcome back. From the courts, keeping in line with the government's new push to crack down on those abusing their bail requirements and those who stand bail for those accused, last week we heard of a family in jeopardy of having to pay $30,000 after the relative they posted bail for failed to appear in court. Well, this week, that trend continues as two relatives of a man who fled the day after his murder trial began were ordered on Thursday to pay $15,000 bailed bond. Justice Gregory Hilton made the order against Jasmine Thompson and Orienthia Mackey after their cousin Shelton Thompson failed to appear on the second day of his murder trial last week. Thompson was accused of the fatal stabbing of 19-year-old Richard Bremer following a traffic accident in April of 2009. On the crime front, the Criminal Investigations Department is seeking the public's help in tracking down 29-year-old Tevin Fritz, who escaped from the Southern Police Station on Market Street on Thursday evening. Police say Fritz, who is pictured here, was under arrest at the Kwaku Street Police Station in connection to a matter related to armed robbery. He managed to escape from the station around 9 p.m. and ran east on Kwaku Street with officers giving chase. Unfortunately, they were not able to capture Fritz, whose last known address is Joe Farrington Road. Fritz stands between 5'7" and 5'9" tall. He is of slim build, dark brown complexion. If you know of his whereabouts, you can contact the police immediately at 911, 919, or CID at 502-9991 or 2. Police are reminding the public that housing wanted suspects is a criminal offense. Also from the crime beat, police confiscated a loaded weapon at a residence in Yellow Elder Gardens and apprehended two individuals on Thursday who are both occupants of that residence. According to preliminary reports, around 8:40 p.m., officers from the Anti-Gang and Firearms Investigations Task Force and the K-9 unit arrived at the Seymour Street residence, executed a search warrant, and discovered a firearm containing ammunition, resulting in the arrest of an 18-year-old male and a 48-year-old female. And police on Grand Bahama took 4 people to court today, including 2 men ages 62 and 54, 2 women ages 61 and 30. They were all charged for possession of an unlicensed firearm and possession of dangerous drugs. Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, Glenys Hannah Martin, spoke on addressing the cultural and psychological shift her ministry is dealing with in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, which saw many school children isolated from schools. Minister Hannah Martin says the psychological committee in her ministry is actively addressing this issue.
We knew that we were probably not exempt in the Bahamas. And we found that when children got back into the campus, in many instances, we had so many eruptions. It was like fights, massive fights. And so we began to really look at this. And what happened was that young people were on a virtual platform. Most was, many were not. They were isolated. They did not have social interaction. And then when they came back onto the campus, it was almost like a shocking, difficult environment. And it manifested in some disruptive ways. We formed a psychosocial committee in the Ministry of Education along with private sector, which, and some of our representatives are here now from the Ministry of Education, where we have begun work because we found that things such as grief, a lot of people have lost loved ones, children, through COVID. They lost them through violence. Many of them are themselves the subject of violent behaviors in various fora, and then a lot of young people come with a lot of difficult challenges, and so we understood that, and we started the work with the psychosocial committee.
While not wanting to reveal too much, she says her ministry has an event coming up in a few weeks that is expected to be a massive demonstration by students in the Bahamas or in the Bahamian school system on how they feel about the violence going on in the country. She noted that oftentimes cultural changes begins with the children.
But it's under active planning. But this whole thing about shifting the culture, we know that it takes the village, the community, the parents, the school, the church, everybody. But we know that in the schools, we have a captive audience of about 30 to 40,000 young people. And as much as we can do that is humanly possible we intend to do within the constraints of the four walls and the general walls of the school campus. Sports, creative performing arts, programs such as this, etc. And so we believe that this is going to have a massive impact. When I was Minister of Transport and we were trying to deal with road safety, we knew that to shift the culture, we had to start in the schools. So we went around to the schools. We talked about seat belts and all of that. And we were getting feedback that children were pressuring parents to put on seat belts. Children can change the world. Young people can shift the culture.
That was Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, Glenys Hannah Martin. And finally, the Green Tech program was officially launched at the University of the Bahamas last Friday, February 23rd. The program is a partnership of Green Tech in collaboration with a Global Society of Sustainable Designers, National Society of Black Engineers of the University of the Bahamas, and the Ministry of Works for senior high school children, the university students, and it is also for young professionals. The objective is to expose participants to multiple disciplines in sustainability, including the goals of the United Nations. The program offers a series of in-person and virtual courses for individuals with careers in the built environment, in architectural construction, electrical engineering, and for high school students who are looking for a new approach to career path. A pilot program will be included in public and private schools. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.